President Trump calling out Democrats for the government shutdown during his visit with troops overseas. Listen.
We need a wall. So when you say how long is it going to take, when are they going to say that we need border security? When are the Democrats going to say? Don't forget, the Democrats all agreed that you need a wall until I wanted it.
So what will it take for this stalemate to end? Joining me now is the resident fellow in law and policy for the Center for Immigration Studies, Andrew Arthur. Thank you so much for joining us.
Heather, thank you for having me.
So there's a loaded question. What in the world will it take to end this stalemate?
Well, you know, it's an excellent question because it's not entirely clear to me what path the Democrats want to take, and really the Democrats hold the cards on this one. If the Democrats simply want to deny the president a victory, then this could take a very long time until the president caves. And that would actually require probably the new year, people starting to come back to work and being denied government services. If the issue is that the Democrats want to squeeze concessions out of the president in order to get the wall, then again, it's going to take until after the beginning of the year, after the beginning of the 116th Congress, when they control the House of Representatives, for them to actually put forth the concessions that they want out of the president, which would probably be at least a partial amnesty of the 11 million plus aliens in the United States, in addition to some other things.
But at the same time, it sounds like, you know, at least in terms of an offer that was made by Vice President Pence over the weekend of $2.5 billion for border security, Democrats say that it's a non-starter.
Which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. And, you know, the point has been made before, but I'm going to make it again. I was there in Congress when we passed the Secure Fence Act of 2006. 80 senators voted for it, including Tom Carper of Delaware, the deputy whip, and Chuck Schumer, the minority leader of the Senate. So if they thought that border security was important then, why isn't it important now? Nothing's really changed. In fact, things have actually gotten worse. Back then, we were concerned about marijuana coming over the border. Now we're concerned about heroin, fentanyl, and methamphetamine coming over the border. So, you know, the idea of having barriers, at least in places, seems to be a lot more salient now than it was 12 years ago, which was almost an innocent time in border security. So right now, I think it's simply politics. I think it's simply a Democratic base that wants to deny Donald Trump any kind of victory whatsoever.
Yeah, that seems pretty evident. And it's not only drugs, you know, crossing over these places that are not protected. It's these parents and adults bringing these children because they know that they can at least attempt to get across in these areas. And now, as a result, we have deaths of 2 migrant children in detention, prompting what's been called more thorough health assessments at the border. What's your thought on all of that?
I certainly have no problem with more thorough health assessments of people at the border for a simple reason, Heather, and that is that this is the end of a very harrowing and perilous journey that these people have undertaken to the United States. About 2/3 of all migrants are assaulted in one way or another before they come to the United States. About 10% of women are sexually assaulted and raped on their way to the United States. So, I mean, when you make the 1,000-mile-plus journey through Mexico to the United States, it's actually a lot for an adult. If you can imagine what it's like for a 7- or 8-year-old child, I mean, I'm a parent, and I can remember taking my child on car trips, and he would get car sick in the back seat. If you can imagine what it's like walking for, you know, extended periods of time, we get kids that show up at the border but may not actually show any signs of illness. They get screened by Border Patrol. Border Patrol does a very good job because they don't want to see these kids be harmed.
Right. Well, the second child, actually, we do know the second child had been treated and then returned to his father, and then the father denied treatment the second time. And unfortunately, the child died.
Yeah, and, you know, the question becomes why the father denied treatment. It's possible that the father was concerned that if the child was actually treated, that the father was going to be detained, whereas if the child weren't treated, the father would be released. I hope that's not the reason, but quite frankly, you know, that seems like it could be a very good chance. I don't know the circumstances of it. But again, people should not be bringing their children to the United States. But we have policies in place right now that encourage parents to bring their children to the United States. it's incumbent upon the Democrats, who are now going to control the lower chamber of the House, to actually change these rules. But I don't think they're going to do it.
All right. Well, we will see. Thank you so much, Andrew Arthur, joining us. We appreciate it.